At this moment, Brother June also received 2 badges and exclaimed, "These 2 maps should lead to the same treasure. To be guarded so heavily by the demon sect. It must be quite special." But one of them points towards the southwest Yang province, while the other points towards the northeast Lu province. Those are in 2 completely opposite directions. Woody chimed in. It probably means that there are a few other pieces to this puzzle. I can only set these aside for now. Brother June continued, "Let's go to the Grand Central Capital first to register our names." Scene transition to the Grand Central Capital. On the rooftop, a young man lounged under a parasol, basking in the sunlight, and said, "Oh, the all-time sect is here to participate in the battle of tigers and dragons?" The maid beside him immediately replied, "You're correct, young master. They are approaching the city wall." The young man, with a book covering his face, added, "From ages past, third-rank sects have only been able to spectate. Second-rank sects have only padded the numbers, while only first-rank sects have been able to shine. Yet a mere fifth-rank sect, ha ha ha. How interesting." The maid followed up, "A fifth-rank sect joining the battle is akin to a clown jumping around. There's no need for the young master to worry." "Incorrect, Tonger. You don't understand," the young man said, suddenly sitting up and explaining. "The number of people who can force me to use more than 60% of my strength in the battle of dragons and tigers does not exceed the number of fingers on my hands. But if you take a look at these so-called clowns, Jun Chan Shao nearly beat my record of being the youngest to break through to the martial emperor realm. He can also be considered a peak genius in this world full of ants. If someone can come close to me in terms of talent, why wouldn't I be happy? I hope he surprises me. To be undefeated, it's lonely at the top." After saying this, he stepped onto the city wall and jumped down, shouting, "Sect leader June!" At this moment, the system suddenly spoke up. "Shoot his kneecaps." Brother June was baffled. "Eh?" The system continued, "Trust me." 7 Mystic Light Break. Brother June immediately gathered a small palm strike and flicked it straight at the young man's knee. Instantly, the young man landed on the ground on both knees. 5 seconds of silence began. Seeing this, Brother June handed him a skewer and said, "It's just a skewer of barbecued meat. There's no need to prostrate yourself. Here. Take it. You poor child. Don't starve." The young man, bewildered, didn't know what to say. Xiaoma took the chance to tease, "The sect leader is still very kind." "Huh!" Brother June responded, "I'm just a kind person by nature. But the beggars in the central province sure are different. Let's go register. We also need to find a place to stay." At that moment, a constable rode up on a horse and shouted loudly, "The CUI family is out on business. Who dares to block our path? Beggars aren't allowed on the main roads. Step aside now or prepare to get hurt." The young man became furious, releasing a terrifying pressure, and shouted, "World's zenith art." His entire body was engulfed in a swirling spiritual energy. Hearing the name of the technique, the constable broke out in a cold sweat. "You're a disciple of the Zenith Holy Land?" The young man didn't answer but maintained his imposing presence as he approached Brother June's group. "How powerful! A martial emperor, no wonder. It's the central province." Hearing this, the young man said, "Now do you get my pal?" Brother June ignored him and continued speaking to Xingchen. "You see that? Even if you're a martial king, you're worth a fart in the central province. You even have to beg for food. You must motivate yourselves with this. The 2 of you just broke through to the martial emperor realm. That's nothing to be proud of when you're here." Hearing this, the young man charged forward to block Brother June's path and said, "Interesting. This is my first time meeting someone this unbridled. June Cha Xiao. I was right. You are a worthy opponent. I will await you with great anticipation on the stage of the battle between dragons and tigers." Brother June replied seriously, "2 things. First, did your master never teach you to look a person in the eye when talking to them?" The young man was startled. "And after image?" Brother June continued, "And second, they are your opponents." The moment he finished speaking, A punch immediately landed. This was Xingqian and Woody. Meanwhile, the iron-masked young man began reciting the young man's background, Ao Wushuang, the greatest talent in the Zenith Holy Land in the past 500 years. He has only cultivated for 6 years, but he has already broken through to the martial emperor realm. He holds the record for the fastest to reach that realm. Hearing this, Brother Jun said, with such talent? You are definitely one of the best talents throughout the entire Star Continent. However, in the all-time sect, you would barely be able to make it to the top 20. The young man, at this moment, angrily said, I was right about you. You are worthy of me using 80% of my power. As he spoke, he unleashed a powerful aura, World's Zenith. But before he could finish, beep, Brother Jun used mountain-splitting palm to shatter the young man's aura. After that, Brother Jun approached him, patted him on the shoulder in a friendly manner, and said, As soon as I saw you, young Master Ao, I knew you were a very respectable person. So I don't think fighting in front of the city gates would suit us. Let's save our fight for the battle of tigers and dragons. Whoever wins between you and Xingqian will be declared the ultimate winner. However, if, by chance, we win, how about you join my all-time sect? Sigh. Although I know my disciple is weak and sickly and has no chance of winning. Upon seeing young Master Ao's genius, I can't help but want him to join us. Xingqian, hearing this, was left dumbfounded. Brother Jun repeated, weak and sickly. Xingqian pretended to cough like a chronically ill person, and Qingyang played along, sigh. Xingqian, did you forget to take your medicine today? Brother Jun continued acting, of course. If we lose, we will suffer a little loss and our entire sect will become disciples of your Zenith Holy Land. Moreover, we will publicize the greatness and might of young Master Wushuang. We'll spread tales of your glory to every corner of the southwest Yang province. Ao Wushuang, hearing this, replied with a sad expression, I'm not interested in your sect. But I am interested in your second proposition. I must admit, my current cultivation is still a bit lacking compared to yours. But if it comes to fighting your sick disciple, I am still completely confident. Xingqian and Qingyang kept acting enthusiastically. Xingqian, you have to hold on. Joining the battle of tigers and dragons has been your lifelong wish, senior brother. That's enough. You're overdoing it. The young man continued speaking, however. I, Ao Wushuang, will not hurt those who are handicapped. He threw Xingqian a bottle of something and said, This is our Zenith Holy Land's signature pill. The 9 Revolution Jade Bone Pill. It can cure all illnesses. I'll gift you this. As he spoke, Ao Wushuang turned and left. I'll be waiting for the day when your entire sect will help spread my renown. Watching his departing figure, Xingqian exclaimed, This guy's character is actually not bad. I'll make sure to hold back against him then. Brother Jun replied, He's going to your junior brother in the future. Just leave him conscious. That should be enough to show our sincerity. I'm not here to compete. I'm here to import quality goods. I can't help but feel excited about the number of new applicants we will get once we put on a big show during the competition. After a while, Brother Jun walked to the registration desk and asked in confusion, You still have to review my registration? The man there laughed and said yes. In order to ensure the quality of the battle of tigers and dragons, we make sure to review each of the participants' backgrounds. You said you come from a rank 5 sect? Well, it is indeed a bit low, but that doesn't mean there's no way. As long as you can provide a recommendation letter that has been jointly signed by the sects inside your province, you can join. Brother Jun responded, Will it count if I steamroll all of them? Suddenly, a voice rang out, What if I act as their guarantor? A young man with purple hair approached and said, I think my Tang sect should still has this little face. Right. Seeing this, the registration staff broke out in a cold sweat and stammered, The second young master of the Tang family? Sect leader Jun, long time no see. Oh. I also have some backing in the central province. Sect leader Jun is the one backing me. That batch of elixirs and weapons was extremely popular. Let's talk more business after I settle your accounts. I have also prepared a manor for you, as a small sign of my hospitality." The young man took out a stack of papers and said, "Young Master Tang, Sect Leader June, the all-time sect has been registered." Brother June exclaimed, "Is this the speed achieved by knowing the right people?" The young man happily said, "Sect Leader June, you can lead your disciples directly to the main venue 10 days later. As for the attire, I would suggest Sect Leader June to prepare something more formal. The battle this time will take place in an advanced formation. It's a product of several formation emperors working together. The array can cover the entire stadium. Once the formation is activated, everything that happens inside will be recorded. It can then be replayed and transmitted. All the major cities throughout the Star Continent will be able to watch the battle of tigers and dragons simultaneously. This is surely the most anticipated battle of tigers and dragons in a long time." "Oh, that's good. The people from the other provinces who could not make it here will also get a chance to watch the competition, that right? I'm about to pop off." The scene transitioned to a manor. Brother June raised a glass and said, "Such a luxurious manor, located so close to the main venue. Young Master Tang must have spent quite a lot of money." Purple-haired man replied, "This much is expected when welcoming the all-time sect. After all, you are my god of wealth. You didn't see it. But even my father said he had never seen such a wild scene in that auction before. The most important thing is that the Tang sect has always wanted a share of the pill market, but hadn't been able to succeed so far. But now our path has been opened wide. Even if I am only a middleman, I have become one of Tang family's heroes. Sect Leader June, do you know why the main residence is empty and unfurnished? Minimalism? It's because 500 million takes up quite a bit of space." As he spoke, a pile of gold suddenly poured into the room, startling Brother June. Brother June was so overjoyed he trembled but tried to suppress it, and said, "I had only planned 5 small goals. Good enough to fill my mouth. It's just a bit off from what I had predicted." Then Brother June jumped onto the pile of gold and started swimming. Purple-haired man asked, "What did you say? You're a bit far so I couldn't hear you." After swimming, Brother June jumped down but didn't forget to sneak some gold into his shoe and said, "Young Master Tang, I have another idea to make big money. I wonder if you're interested," and then, no one knew what he said. But the purple-haired man made a monkey-face grimace and exclaimed, "Isn't that too shameless?" A few days later, the battlefield of the Tiger and Dragon contest officially began. A curly-haired MC holding a microphone shouted loudly, "Welcome, everyone, to the quadrennial battle of tigers and dragons. This year's competition will be broadcasted through the formations to every major city. This way, everyone on Star Continent will be able to join the fun." The person standing on stage right now is the city lord of our grand central capital, Lord Han Dongxing. Han Dongxing stepped onto the stage, smiling and saying, "Participants, I hope you will exceed yourselves today and give the entire continent the greatest show of the battle of tigers and dragons ever. My grand central capital has also prepared a generous prize for the top performing sects. Dear contestants, it's time to show what you're worth." As soon as he finished speaking, the audience erupted, shouting and cheering, "S comic number 1, S comic number 1. The MC continued, "Now that everyone is excited, let's start the first round." He pointed at a cauldron and said, "This is an absolutely fair machine that has been designed by the Formation Emperors. We will use it to choose our first competitors." As soon as he finished speaking, the cauldron burst into flames, creating a fiery text. The MC read aloud, "Our first contestant has appeared. It's the Great Overflow Sect, a newly promoted rank 1 sect. Their strength should not be underestimated." Another name appeared, but it was smaller compared to the previous one, so the MC squinted to see. The flames are a bit small. Does that mean they aren't even a rank 3 sect yet? Strongest sect of all time? The name sure is heroic. I seem to have heard of them before. It's the only sect joining from the southwest Yang province. Then let's welcome the 2 sects onto the stage. First come the Great Overflow sect leader and 10 legacy disciples. As he stepped onto the stage, the sect leader arrogantly said, "Our luck is good, we got a rank 5 sect as our opponent. It's basically a free pass. We can even preserve our strength for the upcoming battles. My children, the Great Overflow Sect will win. Seeing this, the MC praised. The Great Overflow Sect is full of spirit. They are one of the teams favored to win the competition this year. Then, next, let us welcome the brave and courageous members of the strongest sect of all time. As the MC finished, a series of heavy, confident footsteps echoed as men wearing polished leather shoes marched out. The audience gasped in awe, although they are just a rank 5 sect. Their marching formation is quite disciplined. They're just putting up a show. This fight is basically just a formality. Our tickets are wasted. You actually didn't surrender despite knowing that your opponent is a rank 1 sect. Witnessing the imposing aura of the Brother June group, the opposing sect leader also offered a compliment. Your little sect sure is brave. Brother June didn't bother to reply but simply said one word, sit. Instantly, numerous chairs appeared. The Brother June group sat down, all dressed sharply in suits, arms crossed like mafia enforcers collecting debts. Brother June leaned back, propped his feet up like a big boss, and said, the greatest sect of all time greets you all. This scene caused quite a stir among the audience. Sheesh, even their postures are arrogant. A young man burst out laughing with tears streaming down his face, saying, this small sect sure is interesting, but they are self-destructive. Arrogant, they don't put our sect in their eyes at all. Tianer, don't be agitated, we are a rank 1 sect, we need to be magnanimous. Brother June, still with an attitude of fearing no one, said, I remember the rules saying that we can either do one-on-ones or a free-for-all. In order to save time, let's just do a free-for-all. I don't like maintaining this posture, it's not good for my ankles. Hearing this, the sect leader on the opposite side couldn't hold it anymore, veins bulging on his face as he gritted his teeth, saying each word, I have yet to meet someone as arrogant as you, Tianer, lead the team and get rid of them. Following the order, his disciples charged forward, laughing smugly and saying, I was waiting for this. But just as things were heating up, a strange object blocked their view. It was the sole of Brother June's group's shoes. With just one kick, they were sent flying backward. Meanwhile, the sect leader stood frozen in fear, unable to speak, as all his disciples had been defeated. The MC, astonished, exclaimed, the all-time sect didn't even get off their chairs. The Brother June group stayed seated, grinning and chuckling hee-hee. The audience was equally shocked. What happened just now? I didn't see anything at all. I think the all-time sect defeated the Great Overflow Sect's disciples with just a kick? A disciple of Great Overflow Sect scrambled to their feet. Cursing, beep beep, we carelessly let them get the best of us. A blonde-haired disciple at the back, holding his nose bleeding heavily, spoke up, Brother, 2 of our juniors. They seem to have fainted. They were peaked martial kings but they couldn't even take a single hit. They are experts on our opponent's team. Clearly, the 2 earlier had tasted the soles of Xingchen and Woody's shoes, leaving them utterly defeated. At this moment, Brother June clapped his hands to draw attention and said, Gentlemen, save us both time and surrender, all right? You can leave without getting hurt, isn't that a good deal?